Go out and put your hand on the cheapest fence post you ever bought. The green one, the pressure-treated one the man at the store swore would last. Pull it. If it's been in the ground 8-9 years, it'll wiggle. Down where the dirt meets the air, it's already gone soft and brown and crumbling. You paid for 30 years and you're getting maybe 12. And here's the number nobody at that store will ever say out loud. The wood inside that post cost the mill under $2. You paid $11, $12, $15. You paid for a chemical bath and a warranty that quietly expires right about the time the post does. Now here's the part that ought to make your jaw tighten. My father sank posts in red Georgia clay in 1931, treated them with a torch, and a can of waste oil that cost him next to nothing. And some of those posts were still standing when I sold the place. 80 years, no replacement, no chemical, no warranty because none was needed. The whole treatment in today's money runs about $2 a post, and it was deliberately taken out of your hands. My name's Earl. My father was Harlan, and he farmed dirt outside Macon, Georgia. Straight through the worst years this country ever had, 1929 to 1939, when a wasted dollar could mean a hungry kid. He wrote down every cent and every method in a ledger I've still got, and I read it to you one entry at a time. I'll tell you flat, I don't trust a thing you have to pay for every single month, and I don't trust an expert whose paycheck depends on a simple job sounding hard. Wood preservation is a simple job. They made it sound hard so they could sell it back to you by the post. Let me lay the money out the way it actually hits your wallet, because this is where you've been bleeding for years without seeing it. Say you fence a small property, call it 40 posts. Pressure-treated posts run about $12 a piece right now, so that's $480. In the ground before you've strung a single wire. They rot at the soil line in 10 to 15 years, every one of them, because the chemical never soaks past the outer half-inch. So somewhere around year 12, you're back out there pulling 40 posts, buying 40 more, renting an auger, throwing a weekend away. Another $500 in 2 days of your back. Do that across 40 years of owning land, and you've bought those same 40 posts 3, maybe 4 times over. $2,000 easy to fence one little pasture. For a thing my father solved in 1931 with fire and a can of oil. Somebody was going to pour on the ground anyway. Here's what I'm promising you. By the end of this, I'll have shown you exactly how to char and oil a post so it outlasts you, what to buy, where, and the price down to the dollar. And I'll tell you straight what it can't do as well as what it can. Because I'm not selling you anything. There's nothing here to sell. That's the whole problem. Let me read you the entry. October of 1931. In my father's hand, the ink gone brown. Cut 22 fence posts, heart pine. No money for creosote, $1.40 the gallon at the depot, may as well be $100. Burned each post, the bottom 3 foot black in the brush fire. Rubbed in the old motor oil from the Ford and what lamp oil we could spare. Set them wet. Ada says they'll smell. They will. They'll also be here when we are gone. And in the margin, underlined twice, 3 words I'll come back to before we're done. Char it deep. Remember that. He underlined almost nothing in 40 years of that book, and he underlined that. Now let me tell you why a thing as crude as setting your fence on fire actually works. Because once you understand it, you'll never look at a charred stick the same way. Wood rots for 2 reasons and 2 reasons only. Fungus eats it and bugs eat it. Both of them need the same 3 things to do their work: moisture, air, and food. The food is the wood itself, specifically the sugars and the cellulose near the surface. When you char that surface, the fire converts the outer layer to carbon. Carbon is not food. No fungus on Earth can digest a layer of charcoal, and termites won't tunnel through it because there's nothing in it for them. You've turned the post's own skin into armor. Then you oil it. The oil soaks into that charred, open surface and fills the pores, and now water can't get in to start the rot in the first place. So you've taken away the bug's dinner and the fungus's drink in one shot, with 2 things that in 1931 were literally trash. The Japanese have a name for the charring part, shosugiban, and they've kept building standing with it for centuries. My father never heard that word. He just had a fire and no money, which turns out to be the mother of every honest method in that ledger. So if it works that well and it costs nothing and people have known it for hundreds of years, you have to ask the only question that matters. Why did your father stop doing it? Why did the man at the store look at you funny when you mentioned it? I'll tell you why. There's no money in it, none. You cannot patent a brush fire. You cannot put a model number on a can of used oil. There's no service contract for a fence post that lasts 80 years. No replacement cycle, no annual inspection, no warranty department, no SKU on a shelf. Charred wood is the one product that makes the cash register completely silent forever after the first weekend. Pressure treating is the opposite, and that's the point. The modern wood preservative industry got its real legs in the late 1930s and 1940s, and by 1948 the chemical treatment process was standardized and pushed hard into the lumber trade through the wood preservers associations and the building codes that followed. That's the year, give or take, that the old burning and oiling fell off the table for good. Not because it failed. It never failed. It got dropped because it couldn't be sold twice. A chemical company can sell you a treated post, then sell you the replacement, then sell the treatment plant the chemical, then sell the lobby that writes it into code. A brush fire sells you nothing, so the brush fire had to go. They didn't ban it. They did something quieter and meaner. They just stopped teaching it, until a generation grew up believing the only real way to protect wood comes in a sealed bag with a green tint and a price tag. That's not progress. That's a method that pays a monthly bill, replacing a method that paid nobody. Now let me put it back in your hands, and I want you to picture yourself doing this because you're going to do it this fall. You need 3 things. You need wood, and the right wood matters. Get a softwood, pine or cedar or fir, a 4x4 or a round post, because softwood chars clean and even. You need a propane torch, the roofing kind, a weed burner head on a propane tank, $20, $30 at any farm store or hardware store, and you'll use it for the rest of your life. And you need oil. Boiled linseed oil runs about $15 a quart, and a quart treats a stack of posts. Or like my father, you use clean drain motor oil for nothing at all. Per post, your actual cost is somewhere under $2. That's the whole bill. Here's the work. Stand the post up or lay it on blocks. Take that torch and run the flame slow over the wood, the part that's going underground plus a hand's width above the soil line, because that soil line is exactly where every store post rots first. You're not trying to set it ablaze. You're moving steady, watching the grain raise up and go from brown to a deep crackling black, an alligator skin look. You'll hear it tick and pop. You feel the heat come off it. Give it 3 good passes. And here's my father's margin note, the one he underlined twice. Char it deep. A thin scorch is a waste of your afternoon. You want that black layer a good 1/16 of an inch thick, real carbon, not a tan. Deep char is the armor. A light toasting is just a smell. Let it cool 10 minutes till you can touch it. Then take a rag or a brush and work the oil into the charred wood while it's still warm, because warm wood drinks oil. Lay it on heavy. Watch it soak in and go dark and satisfied. Do a second coat the next day. That's it. You set that post in the ground, and you have done a thing that will still be standing when your grandkids are arguing about who gets the land. Now, I told you I'd be straight with you. So here's what this does not do. It will not make rotten wood new again. You char sound wood, not punky wood. It will not turn pine into oak. So, for a critical structural post in wet ground, heart pine or cedar charred will beat treated pine. But it's still the wood underneath that carries the load. And the one real safety rule, and I want you to hear it twice. Use a torch outdoors, on bare dirt or gravel, with a hose or a bucket of water within arm's reach. And never walk away from charred wood until it is dead cold to the touch. Say it back to yourself. Never leave warm charred wood unattended, ever. A post that smolders in your barn overnight is how you lose the barn. Char outside, away from anything that burns, water at your side, walk away only when it's cold. Do that, and here's what you really walked out with today. You're not the man buying his fence 3 times anymore. You're not paying a chemical company rent on your own property line. You looked at a job they told you needed a sealed bag and a warranty, and you saw the truth that it needs a torch and a rag and one good Saturday. That's a different kind of person than you were 20 minutes ago. That's a man who owes the lumber aisle nothing. My father was that man with no money at all, and he handed it down through a ledger so it wouldn't die with him. Now it's yours. So tell me 2 things down in the comments. Tell me where you're watching from, what county, what state. I read everyone. And tell me the last thing you paid a professional to do that your grandfather would have handled himself with what was in the shed. A deck sealer, a fence crew, some weekend warranty. Tell me, because the comments on this channel have turned into something I didn't expect. People putting back the pieces, somebody's grandmother's trick, somebody's spring house, somebody's cellar that stayed cold with no electric. We're gathering it back up together, one entry at a time, and the more of us there are, the harder it is to bury again. If that's the kind of thing you want to be part of, subscribe. Not for me, for the simple fact that there's a whole generation's worth of this knowledge still out there, and we are not going to let it disappear quietly. Next time, I'm opening the ledger to one that'll change how you look at every rusty tool and gate hinge you own. My father had a way to stop rust dead and turn it back, using nothing but tannin out of plants and the same oil from today, a homemade rust converter that the auto and hardware trade would rather you bought in a bottle for $9. Tannin and oil, wait till you see it. It's all in the ledger.